Hello, good evening and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's the same thing as I always do when I open these up. I'm on here and it's really down to you guys how long I stay on here. Got one or two things that I want to talk about, one or two readings if anybody's interested. We'll have a bit of a discussion about my battle with the spammers and the scammers. And how I'm currently dealing with it at the moment. And just being in that place of gratitude for anybody that comes on. So it's the same thing as always. The more people that come on and get engaged in the channel, the longer that I'm on there and I showcase the skills that I'm working with. So at the moment, it's showing me that I've got one person on. So guys, thanks very much for tuning in. And say guys, plural, for anybody that's coming in later on and having a look. So about me, if you don't already realise that I'm a spiritual medium and psychic who was an ex-prison officer. Hi, Gemma. Hope you're well. Ex-prison officer, very, very black and white in my viewpoint. And then we changed to all of this where I'm embracing my spiritual side and my tech side. So excited as well about my venture, my adventure into working on onto StreamYard and going through onto YouTube. And also I thought this week, in this particular time, that I would also include my Facebook viewers as well. And the only reason that I've migrated more across to doing on YouTube is because that you can have people that can moderate, and it's just so much easier. Thank you, Gemma. I appreciate that. It's just so much easier when you're not battling with scammers. And so like the people that were sort of saying to me, oh, don't engage, don't get involved and things like that, right? I understand it, right? I truly understand it. And I spend a lot of time, like yesterday as well, researching what people and how they handle and how they put their shows on and things like that. So I had some fantastic comments and some fantastic support with people. So hi Serendipity, hi Patricia. Hello, hi Keith. Pray, right, let me just put that up because it makes it a lot easier that way, doesn't it? And I'll try and keep up the comments. So everybody who puts a comment on, I do acknowledge at the end, but I don't always keep up. I've done my best to find ways round what I call my ineptitude really with tech. I do my best to keep up with the comments, but what I've decided is I don't think it's that important. I will say thank you, and I'm grateful all of the time for everybody that takes time out of their day to come on and jump on my live. It really is appreciated. But anybody, and I repeat, anybody that comes on here, makes a comment about that they're drawn to your hum, about your readings, and I've got some inspirational talk to tell you. Please, if I don't notice the comment, even if my picture is on there, please report, block, and delete, because they are not me. Facebook, in their infinite wisdom, will not do anything about it. I know, like I might seem like I'm moaning about it, but it is incredibly frustrating for somebody who's not tech savvy to have to deal with these planks. So I'm doing my best not to look at comments like that and getting engaged in them. It always seems to follow me around on there, but I'll repeat this for the benefit of people that are coming on a little bit later or watching him replay, that they are not me. I will never contact you for a reading. If you want readings off me, there's the details going across the bottom of the screen there. You contact me, I then send you my payment details, and then you pay through me that way. I do not ask you for any private details. I am not interested in knowing about your private life unless you want to share those with me. So that's my little rant out the way, because I did put on my Facebook one that I was going to put a little bit of a rant out there. Right, so just to answer that, Sarah, maybe you should get a moderator. Right, I stream from StreamYard, Serendipity, so I'm not 100% sure how you do that from the StreamYard. I do know that you can do that from YouTube. So it's one of those that I've kind of still got to get my head around it. I'm still in my infancy with that one. But it doesn't seem to make that much difference when it comes to Facebook. So it's one of those that I'm keeping a lookout. Hi, Jackie. Hope you're well. So I'm still learning on here. So basically what I've come on for is come on to celebrate. Really, Mrs. P has gone out exercising and swimming and things like that, and I thought studio's all set up, so I'll just come on here, switch the lights on, advertise it, and crack on, and we'll do whatever we're going to do. And what I want to do to sort of get both sides built up, right? Those on Facebook know me for my readings, right? And when I do shows and events and stand-up work on stage, and that's fine because there's 2,000. I've now reached 2,000 followers on Facebook, and I am genuinely chuffed to bits. For those of you that don't understand the saying chuffed, I'm from Lincoln in good old England there, and chuffed for me is really, really pleased, really excited, and absolutely thrilled about it all. Now on my YouTube channel, I've now got, I think as of today, I've got 132 subscribers. So if that, you know, a good few of those people that's coming in and tuning in from Facebook can come in here and subscribe onto YouTube, I can lift my sort of reach with the work that I'm aiming to do. Right, I will never step away from tarot readings and things like that, because at the end of the day, that is my bread and butter. I am a full-time working spiritual and psychic medium, but where my heart lies is working on around people's mental health. It's bringing in upliftment. It is bringing guidance and what I feel that might be going on around the person's energies. And I just want to address as well, because I've had some fantastic support. You know, it has been absolutely incredible. I'm just so, I'm beyond grateful. But I address everything. I address everything, right? So when I look at it and I think, what more could I do? Well, what more can I do is I can keep studying. I can keep working on my tech. They're not failings because they're lessons, and I'm learning this tech side of the thing as I go along. And I realize, and I say this all of the time, that everybody's got to start somewhere. So I look at Trevor Cull, I look at Gemma's pages, I look at the Fitness Hutch, and I noticed that on one of the comments where I've just made friends with Mel from the Fitness Hutch on Facebook, where we're previously connected on Discord and things like that. And one of the comments that was on there was, do people really fall for this shit? Right? One of the comments on one of the things that was shared, do people really fall for this sort of stuff? Right. So I want to address anybody that's looking in with that, right? Sat in front of you is somebody there that did 12 years in the prison service, right? I was one of those people that I don't disbelieve people, and I don't necessarily agree with everything. But I'm a kind of like live and let live kind of guy. You know, as long as you don't need this constant adoration and things like that, you do what suits you. That's absolutely fine. I was presented with something that was right out of my comfort zone, something that I totally didn't understand. And what I give with people, I am never going to sit on one of these programs, right, in front of you. Honestly, I am a natural born show off. And the reason that I say that is because that when I get stressed, I get anxious, I start to perform like the class clown. I have done it ever since I was a child. I have done it right through my working life. When I get stressed, I start to perform and I start to show off. So when this all started to come about, where I started seeing things and sensing things that I'd never experienced before, my natural, logical, analytical mind kicked in and looked for explanations. I couldn't find any. So I then pursued courses and I looked at things of how I can improve or my knowledge base and get an understanding of what was actually going on around me. What I started to find then is the more that I spoke, the more people come and drawn to me as an audience. So my first demonstration when I was stood in a place near Nottingham was to get up there and say, I don't know how this is going to go, but I love appearing in front of people. And I love bringing upliftment. I love bringing in a laughter and smiles and things like that. But I've also got the experience where I can switch to the other skills that I've learned. So I've said to a lot of people, right, I am not going to promise you anything. I am not going to say that right in front of me as I look at this screen that I have got your father, your grandfather, or your loved one stood there. What I have got is the trust in my guides, my inspirers, my spiritual team, that when a message is brought through to me as the conduit, I deliver it. There is no expectation from me that you need to say it's right, or you've got to love me, or I'm trying to con you out of your money or anything like that. I am just as intrigued as you are 6 years further down the line, and I haven't got a handle on it, right? I really haven't. I do everything that I can to learn to deliver to people in the right way. And how I found that is that I just deliver in a blunt and honest way. My tarot cards, I was taught. I have 6 years experience. I have spent multi-thousands of pounds on sitting in courses. I have spent many of my life's hours sat in places learning and doing experimental reads for people. I have issues with anxiety and confidence. And then my answer is always at the end of that, and then what? What happens next? So when I found YouTube, where I could sit in front of an audience and give my version of whatever's going on around me, I took it, right? And then this is the thing: I'm never going to get it 100%. I'm never going to get it right. But connect in with me, and I will be as truthful to you as I can. So that's it's one of these things with me that I just do my level best for people. I don't, like I say, I don't always get it right. But I mean, we're looking now, I've got 25 people in. Thank you very much for tuning in. So I do my level best with this to get around as many people reading. There is no desire to like, oh my God, I'm trying to con you this or anything like that. I come on here and have a chat. It's like when you're at home on your own, and you've got people there that have got the sort of belief that you have, that there's something out there that's different. And I've just had the very, very fortunate, what do you call it? The very, very, well, the fortune, if you like. We always talk about misfortune, but the fortune to now go from doing the odd show and things here and there to this is my full-time living. So I take it serious, and I take you guys serious, and I never take anybody for granted. I sit there in front of audiences all over the place, and I just enjoy the experience. So it's just to come on here and say that this week I'll be available sort of sketchingly for readings, because I'm prepping for going to Stafford, which is a 2-day show at the end of the week. So Saturday and Sunday I'm at the Stafford Showground. And doing that as well, I go down there on the Friday because I help set the venue up, put all of the tables out, all of the signage to welcome all you lovely people. So I thought, right, we'll get into the Monday tradition now of setting this up and doing this repeatedly. Trying to get some sort of form of organisation, which I'm not famed for. I just let my passion just go, and I get whatever I've got. And then my cards tell me a story. My guides will come in and tell me a story, and I just trust. So I wouldn't. Do you know what, Gemma? I honestly am. It's just something, right? When I was a kid, when I was very, very small, so they go round you at school, and they say to you, what do you want to be? Right. I have always had low self-esteem issues. I'm not blaming anything. I am just stating fact. But there's a thing there when I connect with people, the ability that I've always had since I was very, very small is, number one, to talk, which I've never lost. And number two is to make people laugh. When I go in, even if it's just laughing at something silly that I do. So it's been a natural show off. So when I was very small and they asked what I wanted to do, I've come from a military background, so my granddad and my dad were both in the army. That was a big part of my background. But the first time I was ever asked what I wanted to do when I grew up, I'm trying to think how old I would be, probably about 7 or 8 years of age, was that I wanted to be a stand-up comedian. I've had the opportunities to go on and do things like that, but I'm bottled out because I've not had the confidence. And what it turned out to be with working with this, and getting up and giving a talk about my experience in the prison service and how spirit have come to me, what I've seen, what I've observed, how I treat my thought processes, how I deal with anxiety, how I've dealt with the depression I've had in my life. It was the easiest thing in the world for me to just stand up there and just perform. And now I look at polishing that, because people, you get a short time frame that you need to get in messages and also the storyline. So on, I believe it's Saturday at some point, I will be up on stage again delivering the talk about my spiritual development, how I utilize my spiritual work in my everyday life. And it's genuine. It's 100% genuine. How do I know it's real? Truthfully, I don't. I just know in my heart that that's where I'm meant to be. So when I get up there, I like to put on a performance for people. So there we go. Hi, we'll keep going and we'll start getting through, guys. So thanks very much for joining in, and we'll start going down these comments and we'll come to them. You see, here we go. Look, I'll highlight this. So if you can get rid of these sort of comments, it'd be much appreciated. Block them, get rid. I mean, I will go through at the end. So Bella Smith, you are not welcome on this feed. So you're a scammer, and I'm calling you out on that one, and we will get rid of you. Hopefully, people fear the unknown. Absolutely, and it is difficult. But I always say the same thing when I'm doing counselling with people. Right, when you fear the unknown, think about, and what's next. Right. So when we can structure for what we're in the given moment, when we're in this now moment, we can structure that, because if there's something directly in front of us, we can make a decision. Either we fight it, we run away from it, or we structure our expectations around it. Things that are coming in tomorrow, a day ahead, a year ahead, a week ahead, a month ahead. If we're in that fear vibration, we are moving ourselves towards something that we don't want to happen. And we're prepping for something that we don't want to happen. I say this consistently when I'm talking to people. We live in a 98 and 2% world. 98% of the crap that we dream up and think about doesn't happen. And the 2% that does, we deal with it. And the only way that we can deal with that 2% is in that given moment. So with all of that being said, I don't worry about the future. I plan for the now, and when the future becomes my now moment, I deal with it in that now moment, and then I can structure and work around it. So my dad was asking me early on when we went out, what's your what you're looking at doing next year? And I said, Dad, all I'm looking at the moment, short-term future, is how I'm going to negotiate this business from August as we are now to the end of the year. When I get to the end of the year, I will do an appraisal, and then I'll start whether I'm booking events, whether I'm still working in a full-time business, or whether something's got to change. Am I worried about that? Absolutely not, because at this given moment, I have got enough money to see me through to my next month's deadline. And that's all I can hope for. If that situation changes, I will look at changing that when I get to that point there. So remember this from me, that there's one letter difference between here and there, right? And that is the letter T. So that is my answer to everything. While I'm here, I can deal with it. There is over there. And by the time that comes in, that's moved to being a here moment. So while I'm waiting for that there moment to come in, have a cup of tea. All right. Can understand speaking in front of people who can be overwhelming. Yeah, do you know, I'll tell you this, Gemma, one of the most inspirational audience participation I ever went in was a young lass of about 17 that was autistic. And I tell you, when she stepped up onto that stage, I didn't know. I truthfully didn't know that she was autistic. She delivered a speech for about 2 hours that was just incredible. She held everybody in the palm of her hands. She'd got the room there. It was absolutely brilliant. And then when it got towards the end of the evening, her mum stepped up and sort of went like that and waved and said, sort of, time up, it's time to go. She became childlike. She became like she was being organised, that somebody else was leading her. But in that 2 hours that she was up there, she could have led the world. She was incredible. And I walked off and I thought, I ain't really got any problems. I've got nerves. And I think truthfully that when you get out on there, especially if you're working in this sort of genre, that if you say that you're not nervous, you're working from an egotistical standpoint anyway. You're not working and connecting with spirit. So I get nervous, but I don't worry about it, because the one thing that I've always got with spirit is the trust. Right, let me go. So get a few of these. Right. So let me start getting through a few of these. Right. Yeah. If you guys could block and ban anybody that comes up there that is like I'm drawn to you and all of this crap, right? It's not me, and I wouldn't do that anyway. I will go on to Facebook after this and start getting rid of the comments, but if you guys could help me out, so like I say, I'm doing my best not to focus on any of those daft comments. So I will work through as many of these as I can do, because it's not giving me, yes it is, it's giving me the option to block there. Right, so let's block that one. There we go. And I will get through as many of it as I can. Right, so just, yeah, I'll keep that one. Serendipity, I am Taurus, which is bull-headed, stubborn, and my energy is quite chaotic. I am like a bull at a gate. Right. So, Jane, what I'm doing, hopefully you're still on there, because I say I don't always see the comments until the end. So I've got my trusty Josephine Ellishaw cards tonight, which is the tarot that I always use. And I'm also picked up my, and I always forget a name. I do this every single time. Let's not focus on it because the name's gone out of my head. And my little angel cards. Right. So 2 cards, and before I get to look at them, I'm going to turn them up for you, so then I can turn around and have a look what we've got. Hang on, so let me turn that round there. There we go. Right, 2 cards. Liberation, which is that beautiful orange colour there, which talks about freedom, and the 5 of Cups, which is all about that lovely orange area again around the sacral chakra. So if you think of the sacral chakra as the navel area. Now, I don't follow traditional ways of reading. I look at these cards and I ask them to tell me a story. Spirit tell me that there is a lady that works around you energetically, that comes through to you, that is comforting you at the moment because things aren't where they should be emotionally. So I don't truthfully know whether that is a loss of a physical sort or whether that's the loss of somebody's energy that's physically gone to spirit. I'm not 100% sure. I'm just feeling the emotion around these cards. I feel like my hands want to screw up like this. So there's an element of frustration around me. I'm struggling to process my thoughts. Now, I like to keep things simple. So there's an acronym in the military that is called KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. And that's me. That's the way that I explain myself. So I give these readings, and where I'm drawn to energetically, and the colours are taking me around the navel area, 2 things I believe happen in the sacral chakra. Sacral chakra is brilliant because it's your intuition, your gut feeling. It's what your gut is telling you that is the right thing for you to be able to do. At the moment, I feel overwhelmed by choice. I feel like I'm telling myself that I can't move on. I can't get out of this. And I'm locked into this sort of spinning circle. I'm not labeling it as depression, but if you get overwhelmed by your thoughts, then it can soon have you spiraling down, and energetically you feel absolutely drained. Now, around that, and this is my interpretation of it, so around that sacral area is your guts, the cells, and the guts bodily are for getting rid of waste and processing waste. So I put that together and I say, so what emotional waste have you got to process and get rid of? So it goes out either one way or the other. Either we process it toilet wise, or number 2, we process it where we communicate and we get rid of it. So allowing yourself to do this and process your gut feelings, your emotions, getting rid of any rubbish that's going around in your mind. You've got the freedom there. So I always look at this card and think, right, so if I've got the answers to something, I've got the keys, then there's only a problem with me activating or actioning that move to get out of the current state of thinking and that sort of upset feeling around my stomach. So the freedom's there at my fingertips. The 5 of Cups is focusing on a loss or sadness. So I don't know if we can see that there. So there's lots of things that have happened over these last sort of 18 months, 2 years that have flattened you. So it's kind of like built up energetically, and I'm a little bit lost. I'm a little bit stuck. What's going on behind you? If you look there at the 2 beautiful cups there are other opportunities for emotional upliftment. So all I say with this card is energetically, all I want to do is to just tweak you. All right. And just go, just have a look what's behind you. And the more that you start to focus on the new stuff coming in and putting things into place for you to bring those into being, the more that your emotional state will start to uplift. I am not sitting here and saying that there's a magic wand going to come down and everything's all of a sudden going to be emotionally stable, because that takes work. And it also takes into account what your response might be to whatever's going on around you at this moment in time. So with you, don't focus on the loss or sadness, deal with that, but move it away so that you can actually see the potential of what's coming in, and just change your position slightly. So over these next couple of weeks, maybe going in towards the end of next month, start looking at what you've got going on around you that we can get rid of because it's no longer effective in thinking about that way. Are we emotionally attached to something that we can't change or do anything about? And then on the other hand, on the other side of it, right, okay, let's start to move towards whatever it is that you want to bring in. Being told to tell you good luck and you will be absolutely okay. So it's just a sort of slight tweak with your mindset, Jane, and not to worry. So thank you for coming on there. I appreciate that. But I like, right, I'm going to keep putting comments up like that because it's my show. I can do what I want and I love it. Thanks, Keith. I really like that. Give me a boy until he's 7 and I will show you the map. Yeah. So with that, that's an interesting thing because that's where all of your formative information comes in. That's where all of your program comes in. Up to 0 till 7 is you're entirely dependent on the programming that you're given. 7, you start to copy what you've learned, and then as you get further on down the line and you get into adulthood, that is your programming that you've put in based on the information that you've received. Now, some people get to that point and they go, right, that's the way I've always been taught, that's me, and I accept that. Other people get to that point and they go, right, adult me just no longer agrees with this because it's not working. And then you can start reprogramming yourself and rewiring the neural pathways in your brain to bring in new experiences. But not everybody reaches that point. And I always find that it takes something to push you out of your comfort zone, an experience there that where you have to react in a different way. And you go, oh, right, I see how that's happened. You know, if you've upset somebody and you go, right, I wouldn't want them to feel like that. Right. Well, consistently, the feedback that I've been getting is that I'm too blunt or I've upset somebody or something like that. So I would then change my approach. So, yeah, I absolutely agree with that. Thank you. Let me have a look what we've got there. So, right, okay. So still there. Oh, we've blocked that. So I'll get rid of that. We'll move on for that. There we go. Good, love a cut. Susan Stafford, absolutely. If I'm picked, I can smell smoke around me most days. A bit troubled at the moment, so we'd be very grateful if you could shed some light on things. Thank you very much. Well, the thing is, right, my journey started going to the prison one morning before the end of my time, and I'm just shuffling the cards while I'm talking. During the end of my time, that I started smelling smoke in my car, right, and I have not to this day identified who this person was. Now, most of the skeptics will turn around and go, oh, you know, it's coming from the outside or it's you're smoking or something like that. Right. With me, I don't smoke. I never smoked and I don't have anybody in my car that smokes. That's my smoke-free zone. You know, when I was younger, my mum and dad smoked quite heavily and I've developed a real aversion to it. I don't like it, but spirit bring that in for me readily. So I'm traveling to work and I can smell this smoke and it was really strange. But the real strange thing with it was when that smoke came in, apart from not liking the actual physical smell of it, I felt calm. And I was in a place of heightened stress with going into that environment in the prison service where I felt really uncomfortable. I was really struggling with stress and anxiety. Yet for that few moments when whoever's that energy was in there, I felt calm. So I always feel that when people are coming in, take time out to actually feel that energy around you. Decide whether it's good energy or bad energy. Me personally, everything that comes in towards me is good energy because if it's not, it's sent on its way. So I always trust that whoever's bringing that message in is there to support me. So what I would say is I'm picking up a gentleman's energy around you, Susan. I don't know exactly what he's talking about because he's talking that fast. That conversation's coming in. But essentially, what I'm wanting to do with you is to just go and just calm that energy down. I'm not saying you're worrying over nothing, because it's right to have concerns if it's affecting you in your very real daily life. But what I am saying to you is don't overstress and overanalyze it. Some things just have to come into being and we see them in their entirety before we can make an accurate decision. At the moment, I feel like you're a little bit clutching at straws with things. So if you've got smell around you, think for a little while who would have smoked the cigarettes right down to the nib, right the way down to the thing. And I've never smoked, by the way, so this may look odd to you, but I'm like that, and it's right out the corner of my mouth, but I'm still talking. And while I'm talking, this cigarette or whatever it is that I'm smoking, it might even be a pipe because I can't literally see it, is in the corner of my mouth, and I'm still talking, and I'm still talking, and I'm still talking. But when he talks, it's not rubbish. It's good, solid guidance. It's, you know, always busy, but if you can take time out with him, he will help you through your current set of circumstances. Sometimes we don't always know. I always look at it that when I open that spiritual door, that it's basically the first one in gets to deliver the message. But I just trust, because I tell my guides, I give my wolf the instruction before I start working that I do not deal with any darkness or negativity. So doing 2 tarot cards for you, Susan, and I have got the 6 of Cups and I have got the Moon, right, which backs up exactly what I'm saying, because the Moon is all about illusions and deceptions. Being in a place where sometimes we have to face up to our fears and see what they're truly showing us. Are our fears realistic? Now, the moon casts a shadow, right? And if the moon casts a shadow, often what we look at in the shadows is not a true reflection of what is actually going on. So I'm sat there in front of a set of studio lights there that are coming at me, that if I start doing this, that is truth, because that's my hand. That's going behind me is an illusion. Now I can start doing shadow puppets and all sorts of things behind me, but they're not true. They are a reflection of what's going on. So what I always do with this, so I used to suffer from night terrors when I was a kid, is that I used to say to my mum, I'd knock on the wall and say, right, I am struggling with something that's going on that's really upsetting me. And she'd just go, right, put the light on. Because if you shed light on the dark, you can see what it truthfully is. So don't get too bought up into, oh my God, it's that doomsday scenario. Trust that you haven't got all of the information at the moment. Right? There's still pieces of the jigsaw yet to be revealed. The 6 of Cups. Now, the 6 of Cups is all about, let's get that off the light. The 6 of Cups is about choices, about making changes around you that may well have a past element. So this could be a reconciliation with somebody. This could be somebody coming from the past that is coming back in to help you resurrect something. It could also be that you've got your mindset and your head locked into the past where something was better at the time, and it's better than what you're experiencing at the moment. So at times, and I do this regularly, if I've got lost in memories or lost in the past or wishing somebody was there that can't possibly come back or things like that, I call it giving me head a wobble. So I'll give me head a wobble and go, right, because what I'm looking at doing is if I'm in a depressed state or an upset state, I want to break that state of behavior, even if it's briefly. So I bring myself into my now moment and I have a look round. Right, what do I need to do immediately? First thing is secure your safety and make sure that you're okay. Second thing is to breathe quite deeply and have a look round what's going on. As I say, got my trusty cup of tea here. Have a cup of tea. Have a good look round. Right, what is pressing? What is it that I need to sort through immediately? And then start working through things and prioritizing what is important to you. Don't let other people put so much pressure on you to perform and be the version of them that they want you to be. This is all I feel about gaining your independence. So remember, all is not as it seems at the moment. There are changes and choices coming up for you before the end of this year. Don't get too bogged down in judging yourself and what the past is, and just allow yourself to flow a little bit. So I hope that makes a bit of sense for you. Let me have a look what we've got there. Hi, Embracing Aging. Thank you very much for all of your support. I really appreciate that. Still just here. Oh, Puff still here, just editing. Thank you very much. You heard the man, you're not welcome. And see how far behind I am, and I'll start coming. I need to come to see you, or however you work. Let me just I'll answer that. So, Lisa, thank you very much. This is we'll do this on StreamYard, and I can do it on what you call it, the other thing that comes up where you can do the phone calls and things like that. I can do it on Facebook Messenger if you're a friend on there. There's also the option to come to my house in Lincoln if you travel in. And also, if there anybody wanting in the UK for £45 each, I will travel within reasonable distances to come and do house parties and group readings and things like that, because this is my shop window, guys. So for those that aren't here for that, I apologize, but I just keep thinking, right, we'll keep getting those out there. Keep going. I'm also Taurus, brilliant, love it. You know, you can always rely on us, can't you? That, you know, you might not like what we're going to say. Pizza Demon, thank you very much. Thank you for coming on. I appreciate that, my friend. Thank you. Right, I'll start highlighting a few comments and saying thank you. Keep putting on that, because what I'm going to do, guys, is scroll through these, try and keep up to them, because some people do get a little bit like I'm ignoring the comments. Right, I tried the other night going on for research on TikTok. Man, it blew my mind, the speed that things were coming in. So I'm always adapting what I'm actually doing. So thank you very much there. Lewis, thank you very much. This is the original. Right, this is the original one. So this is the lightning one, and it was the one that I wore for the very first 2-day event that I did. And it's got an ego, but I am, you know, everybody likes the waistcoat. So thanks very much for the compliments. Let me keep going. Keep putting on there, guys, and I will get to you, because say Facebook, this on here. Right, let me just stick this on here. Right, I will scroll back as many as I can do. Feel free to come on and go off as you like. I'm looking at, so it's 7:30 now. I'm looking to go on to probably about 8:15. So I will, you know, keep checking in, guys, letting me know that you're still there, and I will get through as many as I can, because what I wanted to do was sort of publicize both things. Because on the, as I say, on Facebook, I'm known for what I do, because that's what I've done, is just jumped on and done readings. On YouTube, I'm not. So my channel is all about my soul guidance, which is connecting in with your energies. It is working spiritual guidance, spiritual counseling. I am not a qualified counselor, and I am not qualified to talk about medical issues. But what I have done and what I consistently do is I see energy in people. I see the colors around them. I see their orbs. I feel their energy. And then I will connect in with that energy, and then we will work through it like on a counseling basis. What is that energy block? What is going on around you? Qualified hypnotherapist, qualified NLP practitioner. I am neither one nor the other as a label. I use all of that in working with your energies, and you lead that. That is client led. There is no need to have multiple sessions, so I'm not getting you to attach yourself to me or anything like that, because all of my work is black and white in that way. I give it as I've got it. And what tends to happen is people take that information away with them. They will process it. Most of the time it works for them. On the odd ones that it doesn't, they make the adjustments. Either way, you win, because you get out of the rut, or you get out of that sticking place that you've been in, and you might even get just a different perspective on things. So that is what I'm always looking at. I put a tagline on, not that I even know what taglines are, but my desire is to inspire people. This work is not about me. It's not about going, oh, you know, you need to recognize me, darling, I need to be a star. I want people to go out there and be stars themselves, because what I found with all of the training and courses that I've been through, there are people out there that don't want you to succeed, right? They will give you the skills, they will give you the knowledge base, and then when you start shining to your full potential, we'll start employing sort of jealousy tactics, bad mouthing you, talking behind your back, right? And I will address that. I'll send that out into the universe, right? Whatever tactics you use against me, I am not competing with anybody. I am not interested in competing with anybody. I want people to be happy. I want people to be the best version of themselves that they can be. And if I play a small part of that, I'm very grateful. When I do my work, when I get up and I do tea rooms and demonstrations and things like that, the idea is to bring a bit of upliftment. I'm not going to turn around and say I've got a direct combination to God's waiting room, or that your long departed people have come in and started speaking to me and things like that, because that's not what it's about. It's working with energy. And I do everything I can to explore and bring that out. There's people on here that have trained with me. I have not changed since you trained with me. I am still really, really excited about doing this work. So keep tuning in, guys, and we'll try and get through a bit more cards, and I'll not get too bogged down in things here. Right. So what I have got for you, then let me just get that into the light there. I have got the 9 of Pentacles. I have got the 2 of Wands. So my little storyline comes together because I'm producer and director as I give these. So the 2 of Wands is about making decisions. I am not a believer in the term that, and a lot of people that come to me give me this, I am at a crossroads point in my life. Well, I've got to say, I am not a fan of that, because 95% of the people that come to me say, a bit of a crossroads point. I don't think you really are. I think fear stops making that change. You start to make a reason, well, I can't do that because I've got to look after this. I've got to do that. Taurus is in Uranus, Mercury retrograde, all of the rest of the things that come out. And I go, right, fine. Okay, right. But when we're not making a decision and we've got ourselves stuck and we're overwhelmed by choice, we are staying in the same place. If that is your choice, then remember that that is your choice. So doing nothing is also a choice. So if you can come to terms with the fact that you're going to stay there because you can't do that, because that's what you've told yourself, you can't do that because you're not confident enough, you can't go down that way because you've got too many responsibilities. My thing is always the same. And then what? So what are you going to do then? What is your next choice? And people will then build up reasons why they can't make these choices, why they can't do all of this. And I go, right, okay, I accept that. But that means 2 years, 5 years, 10 years down the line, you're going to be in exactly the same spot. And most people go, but I don't want to be in that spot. I want to be somewhere different. So how are you going to open that pathway up? Well, the way that you're going to open that pathway up is by making that decision and sticking to it. So the 2 of Wands is all about what you align yourself with. Wands are practical. Wands are that very earth-bound sign there. It's where you put your energy into. So coming up to a place at the moment, Lynette, where you've got choices to make. And at the moment, we've kind of got stuck, and it's a bit of a head scratcher moment. So I would be now looking at what my experiences is that have happened in life that I've been good at. Right? I'd be looking at what my gut is telling me, because when we look at the red on the top of that, the red is all about the root chakra, and the root chakra is about your solid foundations and your base. So there are decisions there that are going to affect you going forward over these next year to 18 months. But start with anything, because everybody's got to start somewhere. It's like I was saying at the beginning with this. I'm no expert with tech and things like that, but I think, well, everybody's got to start somewhere. So whatever it is that you're looking to do, make those changes. Start today. The time is now, because where we're going to end up, I'm looking at this lovely card of the 9 of Pentacles there, and this lady is a lady of financial independence. She's Pentacles, finances, money, riches, enrichment. And as one of my friends talks about, non-financial wealth, which talks about, for me, is enrichment and bringing in that upliftment. She knows what she wants. She knows how to stockpile money. She brings in that finances. So maybe it's just a case of sitting down somewhere and doing a stock take. Whereabouts are you in regards to whereabouts you want to be, and starting to organize things. And because again, both of these are very much material, earthbound sort of elements. Right, where do you want to be? What skill sets have you got? Because like with me, I look at something and I've spent lots of money on training, and then I look at the next thing. Right, so I've done that, that's gone in the mental toolbox. What's next? So maybe there's a need just for you to get out and mix with other people that are like-minded. I'm not quite sure what the answers are, but make some decisions. So don't procrastinate. So as I usually do with that card is I throw in a pair of big girl pants and just go, right, go on, get yourself off that ledge there and get yourself flying. Stop procrastinating, take flight and do what you need to do. So I hope that makes a little bit of sense. attention. Right. Where did I get my Galaxy curtain from? Or Puff? Honestly, don't know. Mrs. P sorts all of that sort of thing. This room was actually my kids' room before my daughters left home. And what we did with it was we plastered it, cleaned it all out, and made it into a studio. So little bits have been added off over the time. There's some secondhand stuff in there. There's some new stuff in there. And I would guess that what Mrs. P's done is gone on some website somewhere or another and picked these curtains, gone to me, do you like them? And have you known any bloke that's allowed a decision in with materials and things like that? No. So I've just gone, yeah, because they're bright and they represent the star. So I would just say with that, just an internet search. Thank you. Let me have a look. Hi, Natalie. Hope you're well. Thanks very much for tuning in. Much appreciated. Is there anyone there for me? Right. Thank you very much. We'll put that there. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up. It helps the algorithm. Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate that because I won't see that at the moment because I'm not on YouTube. So because it asks you to take YouTube out of that at the moment. Oh, bless you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Right. I mean, I'll put this because this is part of why I wanted to come on as well. Right. I have sat there in moments of doubt and anxiety. I know that I always give 100% and I do my level best because I want people to go away from sessions with me either learning or at least have a different perspective on what they get. But you don't always get feedback. So your imagination will maybe start to run away with you and start to fill in things in there. I've had a couple of events recently where I've had my integrity questioned, I've had my ability questioned, and whether I've learned to cope at 51 years of age with dealing with criticism and things like that or not, whether I've got over the things that I've been through or not, there is still that slim margin of time where you process this feedback because life is constantly feeding back to you. All right, okay, I'll process that feedback. And I sit there and then I was doing this event the other day and doing my usual form, doing my rounds and chatting. And then a client stopped me and said, can you remember, which always puts my heart in a flutter because the amount of people that I engage with is absolutely incredible. So it sometimes takes me a while to click on who you actually are. It's not me being ignorant or forgetting you're not important enough. It's just purely down to I get overwhelmed with the feedback that I get. And she said, you've changed my life. And this is the thing about me, right? That as a person is lovely to hear. It's absolutely not true, though, because it's not me that changed that lady's life. I provided her the catalyst. I provided her the stimulus. I offered her some tools out of the toolbox. And then she went ahead and she gathered that and took that away and did what she needed to do with it. And it's fantastic to see the change in her energies. Now, this is where my head comes in because I'm going, anybody that comes in and tells me how wonderful I am or I'm amazing or anything like that is coming from an ego standpoint. So I can't accept the compliment. So I've had to work on this and just go, that lady has come and paid you that compliment. So accept it. So what I've learned to do over these last couple of years in particular is just go, thank you. And I appreciate that. Thank you. Because my old mentality, I could do, if I got an extreme compliment and somebody's telling you how brilliant you are, for me, in my mind, that's a long way to fall because that's a standard that I expect to hit every time. And am I capable of doing that? Not entirely sure. But if somebody comes and says that you're crap, right, you think, well, I can raise my vibration, I can raise my energy, and I can do better. So that was my twisted logic. So what I've done now, when I get up on stage and I talk to people, I bring the energy down at the end and I always bring in gratitude and say thank you for the work that we've done, the love, the light and the healing vibration being sent out to you. And I say these two things. If you think I was great, thank you. I appreciate that because I always want to do better. If you think I was crap, thank you because I always want to do better. So I don't lose on that. And my mind is okay with that because then I then put that in and just think, well, I'm only just around the corner from one or the other. So compliments or insults around the corner from the next one. So Susan, thank you for that feedback. Let me go through there. Right. So Anna Eva, absolutely. Let's go. So have a quick swig of tea because I'm a bit dry throated because I say this wasn't planned. I wanted to get into the habit of doing it at a regular time, but Mrs. P's not been very well. We've had some personal stuff going on here, so I thought just see whereabouts she is with things, because we work really well as a couple, and I want to support her as much as I can with things. So when she's decided that she's going out, well, that's my free time. I can now do whatever I want. I'm not beholden to anybody, and this is the wonderful privilege that I've got of being a full-time working medium, that I can please myself. You know, my work's gone international, guys. I'm working in South Africa. I'm connecting in Canada and America, and I'm just sat here like the Wally that I am, thinking this is brilliant. You know, you got people on that come on. I don't know if she's on tonight because she's a very busy lady herself. But if you see any comments there from a lady about fortune cookies, right? Just if you watch anything and you're on YouTube regularly, go and watch fortune cookies. Amazing. Just such a lovely person. See, we've got another one on, guys. So let's just block that one. Anna Eva, and then I'll keep flagging Anna. Another beggar wanting your pennies. Yeah, thank you. We'll keep going through. Right, what's that one say? Right, yeah, you're another one. Get off my channel. Sorry, guys, if they're coming on there. Remember what I've said, that I'm not responsible for these, and I'm not going to swear. I'm going to be decent about this, but I'm not responsible for these idiots coming on and putting these comments on. But I just hope it doesn't ruin your enjoyment. You see, I'm getting loads of them on there now. So if you can help me, guys, I would appreciate that. I'll keep coming through. Yeah, we'll put that one up as well. So I'll come back to you, Anna Eva, in a minute, and I'll keep that logged in my mind. But I'm at Bottisford on the 20th of August, which is Grantham. So that's next week. And I'm there for the day. I'm also at Cleethorpes. I think that's next Saturday. Sorry, a weekend on Saturday. So there's lots of things going on around me. Block that one as well. See if I can find you again, Anna Eva, so that I can remind myself. There we go. Please pick me. Right. So the two cards that I picked for you, Anna. Oh, wow. Right. How brilliant is this? Right. I'm very, very blunt, and I hope that doesn't come across as ignorant, but right. Sometimes we need somebody that turns around and goes, right, crack on and get on with it, right? So getting hold of that, you've come through recent difficulties this year, and I only want to take this to the previous 3 months, that you have come through a period of difficulties. I get the need for resting, and I get the need for processing when you've been through painful emotional situations. But then what I'm feeling now is that you've got a little bit bogged down in going back, and I call them post-mortems, where we keep looking back over things and thinking, could I have done that better? Could I have done that any different? Could I have been any more understanding? Right. My answer, my clear guidance is clear the lot. Put it in the effort bucket in the corner, right? Get rid. You've done what you've done. You've experienced what you've needed to experience. Take from it what you've learned from it. Don't go back whatsoever. Grab hold of yourself, give yourself a good shake, and make some of these big decisions now start to count. Trust seems to be a big word that you're lacking, right? The one thing that you can trust implicitly from birth to the time that we check out of this mortal coil, the one person that is going to be with you from that point to that point is yourself. So take time out from other people's opinions and people rattling around with what you should be doing and things like that. And I just see it like blah, 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 blah. Right. Thank you very much. It's like having a Muppet in either ear, you know, blah, 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 blah. Right. Thank you. I've heard you. Thank you. I've heard you. Right. I just need a minute to process some of the noise that's going on in my head. Deep breath. We're slowing the energies down. What is it that I need to do? I spoke earlier about prioritizing yourself. Self-healing, self-love, self-kindness, self-awareness. Right. What is it that you need right here and now? Because as you come up towards the end of this year, you've still got opportunities to make those big changes. The Magician card is a fantastic card for saying that everything's in alignment. So with this, we've got, and it just gets because I'm opposite way on this camera, we've got the financial aspects. We have got the wands, he says, go in there, trying to match my finger. The wands, which is practical. We have got the swords, which is communication, your thoughts and how you process information. And then we've got your emotions. All of those under his spell. Right. So opportunities being there for you to make some big gains. But if we're locked in this process of being stuck in the past or processing things that have let us down and stuff like that, it's, for me, it's about releasing yourself from that emotional padlock and making those decisions now count, right? No regrets. Move forward to the best of your ability. And I'm reinforcing that by my favorite card there for that, which is basically the charge card. It is that let's get on with it. It's dynamic action. The knight is all about making action things count. So blue is about communication. So what is it that you've got to say? What is it that you've got to cut through in your mind that's blocking you at the moment? I always see this card as well as being a little bit strange, because you look at something and you go, I want to make these changes and I'm going to do that, but I'm not quite sure how to do it. So you kind of stumble into something and then the momentum takes off, and it's like trying to get on a horse when you haven't got control of the reins. So if we look at over these next sort of couple of months, it's going to be a bit bumpy. But remember, even if it's bumpy, as long as you're moving forward, by the time you get yourself sorted out, get things ironed out, then you will be absolutely fine a couple of months after that initial period. So this is about you restructuring your life, I feel, over these next few months, and just calming energies down around you. But it's like a window of opportunity. So take that window of opportunity. And there's a lady in spirit that's just telling me to tell you bright blessings, bright blessings. They're looking after you. They are listening to your prayers. But something that you want at the moment is not quite lining up, because I feel like I'm going like that. So it's not quite lining up at the moment, but don't give up on it, okay? Because I've got a song in my mind that goes back for a long while. There's something like, don't give up on us, baby. So watch and see what happens. Right, let me just keep going here. I mean, look at this, right, guys? I'll put this out there. How can you take somebody seriously that's called hammered? Because I don't know what that means to I don't know what that means to you guys, but if I'm looking at somebody that's hammered, they've had a little bit too much of the old sherbet there. They've had a bit too much time on the old sauce. So look, we're just absolutely rammed out with them. But I will say, I hope this hasn't sort of distorted your enjoyment. I will keep going and blocking as many as I can. So let me go. Scroll down a few there. Yeah. Look, there's loads of them. Absolutely. Hammered. I love that. See what we're like for time, and then we're catching up. I'm just trying to catch up on the gates there, right? Thanks, Fitty Stutz. Right, I was just sort of bringing up. I don't know if you caught earlier on about that. I was saying about. I saw one of the comments that was put on your page about when you shared something of mine, that do people still fall for this stuff? And I just felt the need to sort of justify my existence a little bit with this. That I'm not a fraud. I'm as genuine as you can be. If you came up to me in the street, I wouldn't lie to you. If I knew something, I would tell you it. If I didn't, I would find somebody that I feel that could advise you. But to turn around and say that it's crap, just for me, it's kind of like narrow-minded there. That I mean, I was an open-minded skeptic when I started with all of this. So it's one of those things that, you know, each to their own, but, you know, at least give people the benefit of the doubt. Let me just, where am I going now? Sorry, I've got a little bit sort of bogged down with spammers again, but I'm not replying to them. I'm just going through and just blocking a few. So, let me have a look. So if I've missed you, remind me at the bottom. So I'm trying. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Right, let me just put that back again. No, I don't want to do that one. There we go. Right. So, Lorraine Chambers, may I have a card? Will I be moving into smoother water soon? Do you know what? The answer to that tells me a lot of things about you already. Right. I will do your card by all means, and hopefully it makes some sense and it resonates with you. Then I will pass on this message. Right. You need to now I feel, start taking charge of that destination. Will you be moving in smoother waters? Right. So I get a gentleman in spirit that is coming towards me. And if you imagine me with my glasses on, where I look over the top of you like this, and I kind of look down my nose that way, and I give you that stern look, and I ask you the question, will you? Will you be moving into smoother waters? The answer's got to be yes. But to move into smoother waters, you've got to believe that there's something on the other side of what you're experiencing at this current moment. Right. So what you need to start doing is trusting yourself, your inner being, your guidance, and your experience in life. Because the thing is, you haven't got to this stage in your life without learning a thing or two. Right. So what has worked for you in the past? What doesn't work for you anymore, chuck it in the effort bucket in the corner, which is what I always advocate. If you can't do anything about it, then get rid of it. If you can do something about it, change it. And don't live another person's life. So 2 cards for you. Oh, yeah. Right. So are you going to be moving into smoother waters soon? 100%. Right. So before I introduce this card, when you talk to people about what certain cards mean, right, I know that certain cards invoke fear in front of people. Now, when you give meanings and definitions of cards, it is about the person that delivers the energy across. It's the way that they interpret it, right? My whole way of working, I do not work with any darkness or negativity or anything there that's going to provide you with any upset. There are cards in that deck that do say that there are difficulties and things to deal with, but the swords help you cut through the illusions. And for me, they're the only ones in the deck that I work with that can cause you any problems. The majority of it that causes you real problems is your reaction to the stimulus that's going on around you. So this card does promote fear. But before I introduce it, I just want to say to you that it never, ever, ever, and I'm expressing that clear as I can, means literal death. So death is the end of your difficulties. It is the end of the processes that you're going through at the moment. I feel that it's taking longer than it should do because you're not in a place of acceptance with things. You're still hoping on certain things. The death card is great because it's a full stop moment of just going, right, if I'm sat there hoping, and despite the evidence, I'm still hoping that things are going to turn a corner with that, right, I've got to prepare myself that I may well be disappointed, but that is taking up time. Whereas if I look at something and go, that is shit, and I accept that that is shit, and that's done with. Because what happens with the death card is once we signal the ending, we finish that, la la la, it's all finished, then that allows the potential powerful transformation to come in. But it's got to be at the point where you turn around and you go, yes, I welcome those new changes in. So to bring those new changes in, you've got to get rid of the deadwood, get rid of the crap, right? Trusting in your intuition to be able to do that. So basically, as the thing in Frozen says, about letting it go. How are you going to be okay? Because I've got the Knight of Cups there. Now, in my deck, the Knight of Cups is all about high emotional intensity coming in. So we think about things there that make your heart skip a beat. Now, I'm just a common old garden, everyday bloke here that doesn't do any gushy stuff emotional. So if you're looking for a love reading, I'm not your guy, right? So I look at this because I don't think there's a romantic bone in my body. But I look at this card and I go, you know, if you're looking for your knight in shining armor coming through and sweeping you off your feet and making everything lovey-dovey, great, that's brilliant if that's what you believe in. Me with this, I think about things that are going to come in that are going to embellish my life, that are going to give me upliftment. So the answer to your question is yes, when we accept the endings, and when we get the endings sorted, be prepared for the speed of this coming in, because nights are all about action. They're all about speed of things coming in. So over this next couple of months, clear the decks and prepare for some upliftment heading your way. So make sure your knickers are clean and you're going away somewhere as well. I don't know why I said that, but there we go. Right, let me go. No, I'm in the. Let me have a look at that there. Right, so I've said there that I don't really endorse people, but this lady I absolutely do. If you get the opportunity, and this is for the YouTube viewers, go on this lady's channel. I sat there yesterday, I think it was an hour and a half. Fascinating, right? Because what this lady doesn't know about tarot is not worth bothering with. We are at some point, when we get the appointment put together, going to do a live on Facebook. And this lovely lady has got, I think it's about 15 or 1600 followers. And she's very graciously agreed to have me on and do my brand of whatever it is that I do. And I've got 132 on. So it's on about lifting my profile. But if you want to go and check out Annabelle's page there, then look at Fortune Cookies, go on there, and you'll be amazed. She's such a lovely lady. She's American, so just be mindful of the time difference if you're here in Britain. But you know, I sat there yesterday and it was brilliant. It was such a lovely thing. So I don't know who else is on here, but my afternoon consisted of Fortune Cookies with the tarot. I then went on to the fantastic Trevor Cull, and I'm always going to push him because I find him brilliant. He's a man after my own heart, because what he does is he says the things that other people are frightened to say, right? And he's happy to stand behind what he says. Now, it doesn't matter whether I agree with it or somebody else agrees with it. He puts it in a way that we can all have that healthy debate. And I just absolutely love watching him because of the humour, but also the honesty. And then after that, I had a brief break while I grabbed myself a brew and then went on to the fitness hutch. Now, the fitness hutch, when you get on there, right, he'll say thank you later on for promoting him, but it is not a chore to me. They are doing amazing things. It started out with working with mental health, because Mel is mental health nurse. Paul is all about the fitness and things like that. But they've got such a fantastic, entertaining dynamic. Right, forget about whether you're interested in what either of them do. It's about working with their energy. So you go on there and you might have had a bit of a crap day. You might be feeling a little bit flat about something. You go on there and you have a bit of a giggle. You know, the thing yesterday about the veg with the googly eyes on. If you just went on there and you're feeling a bit flat, it was just daftness. But it works. And this is the thing, if we could get more of us together on here that have got a like-minded, that could promote that upliftment with people and show that the life that we're actually living is not something to be feared all of the time, and that we can make changes, then, you know, we're halfway there. So yeah, let me just have a look at that. Thank you. Really appreciate your time, Leslie. Appreciate that. Thank you. Right. Yes. I'm going to give you a card there, my friend, if you're still on. Hopefully you're still on. I don't know where I'm about to say I'm with the comments. I'm doing my best to keep up there. Right. Now, well, yeah, they're a waste of time, mate, to be fair. I'm not... people don't like me, they don't like me. And I will, if I've got my opportunity there, look, publicise my book, right? My book that I wrote, this is the pocket-sized version. I wrote this book myself over the course of 3 years, based on my opinions and when I was out walking with my dogs, because that's my saviour for my mental health. Take my dogs out into the woods, go walking. I've now got 3. I did have 2, but I've now inherited 1. And I go out there and I just look at nature and I observe nature and what's going on around there, and it just helps calm my head down. And there's a chapter in there because I was doing a live, this was probably about 2 or 3 years ago, and somebody put on there an abusive comment, and being the sensitive person that I was in that moment, I was upset by it. So then I started to look at the context of the comment that was made, right? So there was a guy that thought all of this work was a load of shit, right? So to prove that to himself, he came onto a channel that he didn't believe in, watched somebody working there and turned around and said that he was shit at something that he didn't believe in. How the hell would he know? If I don't believe in something, I'm not going to spend time researching it. So what I was thinking, how does that even work? So if I wouldn't believe if the best person in the world dropped on here, I don't know who's the most world famous medium, dropped on here, but if I thought he was a tosser, I wasn't going to spend life's hours there watching him just to prove to myself that all of this is a load of shit. So there must be part of these people that want somebody to change and change their mind and prove what they're thinking is either correct or incorrect. Well, I'm not about that. I am not about that. If you don't believe in it, that's fine. You're welcome to put your thing, but just like Paul was saying last night, don't be abusive about it. Have your say by all means, and then get off. You know, surely you've got better things to do with your life hours than sit there and attack people whose sole aim is to provide upliftment and strength to other people that are going through difficult times. Now, that for me is a fantastic commodity. What you believe in, whether spirits connect, I truthfully do, because I've seen too many things that my analytical mind cannot reason with and ration with. So I've gone with the other side of things. Am I 100% with it all? I can't be, because I've not experienced everything that everybody else has experienced. But where I'm at now to where I was 9 or 10 years ago, my approach is entirely different. But you're all entitled to your own opinion. But as I say, just don't be nasty about it. Right, Keith, thank you. Let me just do it. Thank you, appreciate that. No, best not to highlight that because I'll get lost. I do my best, guys, to keep up with the thing, but we've had quite a lot of comments on here tonight. It was just so the idea behind this thing, guys, was to just come on and promote the YouTube channel, which is all about the soul guidance and the work there. And that is that's £50 an hour on StreamYard and the things like that to work with soul guidance, spiritual counselling, and working with your energy. And I'm a qualified hypnotherapist, NLP practitioner, and the experience that I've got with life coaching and things like that. That's not for everybody. The other part of me that I do on Facebook that I'm actually known for with my 2,000 followers, yay, got there in the end, is the readings and the straight chat that I do. So it's a free shop window for me to get on here and promote myself. So it's just, that's why it's running across the bottom. There'll be people there that will think, you know, what did I want? Waste my time on, because it seems that my signal has just dropped out there a little bit. Right, Puff, I'll just answer that. Right, I don't know if this is what my calling is, but I've always been drawn to directing movies and making them. Well, why not? Right, convention will say that you can't do it because people of a certain standard don't do that. But look at all of the people that have. You know, you look at, I always think of like Journeys with that. He wasn't a director, but he is now a very well-known actor of quite a lot of years standing, was Harrison Ford. And Harrison Ford, before he became famous, was actually a carpenter on set. He was a set designer. And he'd got a certain look. And when he started discussing certain things, he was then auditioned on the spot. And then his pathway's completely changed, isn't he? Because now everybody knows who Harrison Ford is. But again, he had to start somewhere. So if you've got designs on being a movie director, where do you start with it? Well, you've got the ideal spot because you're on this sort of thing. If you've got any ideas about tech and things like that, about doing short movies and things like that. And what tends to happen, and this is what I truthfully believe, we look at they're not coincidences. They are where you will have experiences, and then that'll get you knocking on doors. Imagine just going down the street as a sales pitch and you're knocking on doors. There's going to be certain people that are going to answer them. There's going to be certain people that ignore you. So synchronicities. So now that you've put that out into the universe, trust now that that's something there that your inner being is telling you that you want to pursue. So go out there and make it happen. Why not? Because I'm sat here in front of you, qualified hypnotherapist. I'm actually a butcher by trade. When I was much younger and in my teens, I qualified as a butcher. I went to college when I was in my 40s to learn plastering and things like that. So I've got all of these fancy hats that I can wear, that I can do my toolbox. But my dream, as I said right at the beginning of this, was to be a stand-up comedian. And yet I've been a prison officer. You know, I've worked on building sites. I have done so many different jobs. And I truthfully believe this, that we're only limited by our imagination. Anyway, let me get back to you, Keith. So 2 cards for you there. I have got the 6 of Pentacles, which is the card of gifts and generosity. It's the card of giving. I love this. And I really do love this, because when I meet people that are generous financially or generous of spirit, they're lovely people to be around because they bring in upliftment. They're usually the sort of people, though, that forget to close the purse and close the wallet and just look at what they need for their ongoing satisfaction and happiness. You can look at this two ways, right? Either you can take this as a subtle warning that I need to have a look at my money because I'm falling short on something that I want to achieve, or you can look at it where that you've got money coming in that is going to give you that opportunity to make those changes. And I always put in with this, I'm never one for looking at darkness and negativity with any cards. I always think about people that are around you. So I don't know how wide people's circles are of friends around here. I've got a very small circle of friends that I would ultimately trust with everything, you know, and I think the circle actually gets smaller every year. And I look at that if I was a man that had got tons of money, right, that's great, because you're always going to have people around you that's going to enjoy that with you. When the times are crap, right, and you turn around and you need help and you need guidance, just have a look who's there with you right the way through, you know, from being in a poor place to being in a good place and being in the place in the middle. So when I look at that card, I think, right, okay, I could give everything away and I've got an audience while I'm giving it away. When I start saying, well, I'm charging or I'm doing this, that, and the other, who's going to stop with me? So I think for you, not only a financial stock take, but an emotional stock take as well. It's just having a look about where you are. And I'm putting this because there's this big build-up of energy coming in and around me where I feel like I'm going to burp, and it's coming right up through my system there. And I'm coughing. I haven't got a cough. I haven't got anything wrong with me whatsoever. But that is energy there that I feel I need to communicate. So something that's been going on around you emotionally, that's taken out a lot of your time. It's took over a lot of your thoughts. It's now time to put that to bed. Bring it to a conclusion, because the 8 of Swords, as we're looking at there, is about being in a place where you're trapped by your own thoughts. Now, I always look at simple solutions for everything. As I mentioned there, the acronym KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. So the answer to this card, to free this lady from there, she has got chains around her wrists, which are chains that she put there herself. So she could undo them. She's also got a blindfold on, which says to me that she's not quite got the right perspective on something. So the answer is to take off the blinkers, the blindfold, the obstruction, and have a look at what's truthfully going on around her. The swords themselves, if they represent an each and individual thought, not one single one of them physically touches her. So all of the things that she's thinking about are all in her mind. So if that resonates in any way whatsoever, this is just going, right, shake off the shackles. There is potential for you to increase the way that you derive money. There is ways of bringing these changes in, but you've got to come out of the old mind state and anything that's dragging you down and have a good, clear look at what is going on around you. And like I said earlier on with one of the readings, affect those changes. Go out there, and instead of saying why not? Just go out there and enjoy it. See how many comments I can get through. Lady of the Lake, do you see a promotion? Right, let's have a look what the angels have got for you. Lady of the Lake. Hiya, Shauna. Hope you're well. What was that? I was woken Saturday morning with a magpie tapping on my bedroom. Oh, right, magpies. Magpies. I love magpies because they go after bright and shiny stuff, don't they? So I'm looking at that, Linda, and I'm thinking new beginnings there, but we've got to do some prep work for it. What is shiny that's out there? And this is what's just coming into my mind. What is shiny out there that you're after? But even when you're looking at shiny stuff and bright new beginnings, it needs structure. It needs something there to actually go out there and build a pathway to it. So I feel that there's a lady around you, Linda, that is talking to me about making those changes, but getting on with it. So I don't know whether you're procrastinating or you're stuck. There's something around you there where I feel like I need to make changes, because something I'm doing currently at the moment, my heart's not in it, because I'm starting to rock here and I'm getting a little bit nervous and a little bit anxious. What is it that it's like? It's too much of an hard slog. It's too. I'm struggling with this. So make those changes. Do it for yourself. Right. Let me so I don't get distracted because I'm going all over the place. Right. Lady of the Lake. I am being told to draw you 3 cards. Right. So I'm doing as I'm told. 3 cards. Yeah. Right. Love it. Lady of the Lake. Promotion. Yes. Right. But not yet. Right. I'm thinking I've got the figure. So spirit, like, draw 6, and then I've got a dash, and then I've got 8. So 6 to 8 months. And like I do with everything, I feel that there's prep work for going on a journey. That's the military part in me. That what is it? Prior preparation prevents piss poor performance. So prior preparation prevents piss poor performance. So this is about getting rid of any blocks or obstacles, whether it's in the mindset, whether it's physically, whether it's other people's expectations, and just saying, right, I need to focus on me. I've got this to organize, I've got that to sort out, and then I'm going to make these changes. And I hope that everybody comes with me and everybody's okay with that. But at the end of the day, I need to put my best foot forward. Calm yourself down. So my brief card there is beautiful in the green. That is sometimes just sitting in that emotional heart chakra there and going, right, is this the best for me? Is this what I truly want? Because quite often, and I believe this, spirit will never get involved in a free will choice of decisions, but they will also not let you make anything that I think that is really detrimental for you. So you will find that the things that we're not meant to have, this is where there's a series of events where things will just go, well, it could have been a bit different, because it puts that element of doubt in your mind, and then you stop and you think. So maybe there's just a few things around you that you've got to sort of restructure before allow that to come in. And to do that, sometimes we just need time out and we need to breathe. This is where I'm saying that I do believe that this is coming in the 6 to 8 months. And this is why I believe that there's this gap at the moment where there's this seemingly nothing going on. It's because we need to accept an ending or two. So when this comes out with the angel cards in tandem with the one I did earlier, this is like with the death card, where the death card, I've got to accept the endings. And if you look at this card itself, if I get that just right on shot there, he's got 2 swords that are uncrossing. And the 2 swords, when they're in the tarot deck, are all about a blockage. They're all about a deadlock. And, think about Monopoly, where you can't get past. I'm not going through there. So there's something there, communication-wise, thought-wise, where I need to have a word in the right ear. And I need to get this situation resolved before I can allow that transformation coming in. And the last card for you is transformation. So that's embracing everything that's happened to you recently and doing a sift. Good thoughts in one place, bad thoughts and all the rubbish and all of the trauma in the bin. Harnessing all your skills and talents and knowing that you've got the capability, and knowing in your heart that promotion, that change of job, that moving out of your area in some way or another, because this is what spirit are talking about, is within reach. But we've got to get ourselves prepared. Right, clear communication. It's all right for me saying stuttering and stammering there, but clear communication. Right, guys, let me have a look whereabouts I am. Have I caught up? Let me have a look at that. When I was 11, I was on something. Right. And this is one thing that I want to bring up as well, because that absolutely fascinates me, right? And what I'm going to say to that, I don't know whether I said this on the last one, but I did a show recently where 90+% of the people were really happy with what I did and they had a good evening. And then there was a percentage of people that left before the end and they wasn't happy. They didn't believe in what I'd done. There was this, that, and the other. And I then went into that thought process. Oh my God, was I good enough? Did I do the right thing? Did I come across in the right way? So I went to see the organizer, and she looked at me when I gave my version of events and went, don't know what you're on about. So there were 2 people that came to me that wanted their money back. And I said, you paid your money, you came in. What did you expect? So you paid for your goods. That's it. You go. And the ones that I perceived that had gone, well, that's their free will of choice. But it's like I said, if you're one of those people that are quite reactive and somebody says something that upsets you or something like that, you've still got to find a way of processing what's been said and sort of reasoning with your own mind that what you are imagining is not necessarily what's real. But until you've solved that moment, you may well be in that hurt spot. You may well be in that I've been offended, I've let somebody down or something like that. Then whatever that time is, don't allow yourself long to dwell in it. Like looking at that. So if somebody said you've got talent, right, I can sit there and tell you or puff without knowing anything about you that you've got talent. But if you don't believe it, that is where the flow of energy stops. Because I can sit there and tell you anything that you want to hear, but until you decide that that is the correct information and you action it, you will stay exactly where you are. If you're happy with exactly where you are, then that's fine. Don't worry about it. But if you've got this dream to go out there and be that next director, then why not? Because, I mean, you look at I've never read the Harry Potter books or got involved in any of that, but that J.K. Rowling was a housewife that was on the verge of bankruptcy and all of the rest of it, wrote that book, and she's never looked back. She's one of the richest women in the world. But all of her work started from her kitchen table where she put this thing into play. Now everybody knows who she is. So why not? You know, she come from very little to absolute greatness. So, you know, you just don't know. Thank you very much, Sam. I appreciate that. Right. So let me just go there. And see where we're going. If I've missed your comment, guys, please realise it is not personal. I look at the end. I work on StreamYard. I go through as many as I can, but I go off on flights of fantasy, to be honest. I just want to present and perform in front of you guys. And if I get a card, so it's not because I'm ignoring you or picking favourites or anything like that. It is just purely down to where I've managed to catch. And to be fair as well, right, before I come up, my dog is absolutely fantastic. He just loves me so much. But he's got this habit now, because I've not been wearing glasses for many years. It's only in the last year where I've started to wear them permanently, because seeing little signs, I can't bloody see anything now. I'm all right for distance and just like normal stuff, but when it comes to reading any text or anything on it, I can't see bugger all. So he'll come up and he'll sniff, but what he'll also do is he'll lick my glasses. And it's only when you've got light reflecting back at you and you're looking at that into the screen where I've got blooming dog slaver all over my glasses. I can't see anything. So I turn these cards over and I'm going with pictures rather than words. And say with the comments, I'm also the same. Some of it's got a bit blurred and things like that. But yeah, there's no malice intended with it. If I skip your comment, it's not because I'm looking at it going, I can't read. It is just literally because I'm not seeing it. Right. So you've got something there mindset wise so we need a change with you, Valdette. We need some changes. Right. So there's a feeling of, and this is what I describe this card as, being in a state of me. I'm just like, you know, there's nothing particularly wrong, but it's not quite flowing either. So I'm sat there and it's like, I've said this to my mum this afternoon, that if you've got dead space in your head, right, you've got nothing particularly to worry about, but you're not quite where you want to be either. That dead space will get filled by your imagination. And depending on what your mindset's like, generally, like for me, if I sit there in dead space, I've got to find something constructive to do, because my head will fill it with dead dark stuff and it's not productive. And then I will regress into somewhere really dark. And I don't want that. Right. I've learned over the years that it is not good to be in that space. So I'm always looking at being productive, because if I'm in that state of where the Four of Cups is there, that like, things aren't right. But what am I going to do to change that status quo? What am I going to do to actually change that round? Because it is showing these cups that while I'm focusing on that one thing that I'm pissed off or fed up about, I'm missing the opportunity to make changes, because the three in the foreground there, he's not even looking at. So he's stuck in that mindset that, oh God, you know, is this what life's about? Right. But what are you going to do to bring that ship closer to shore? So fours are great, right? Because fours are about stability. But I also think with a four, that you can also stabilize crap stuff as well. So if you get into this pattern with things and it's just like, bored, fed up, miserable, then you get more opportunities to look at that. So with that cup being offered to me with that like that mindset and that emotion, right, I don't like the taste of that. I'm going to throw that away. Right, what's in these 3 cups down here? So over the course of these next few months of your 2023, try everything, right? Have a go at all of the opportunities that you're looking at, but get into the place that by sort of October, November of this year, of being in a place, being ready to go for 2024, but have some structure. So take chances over these next few months and get things structured. I don't know whether your dad's in spirit or whether your dad needs any healing or something like that, but I just keep hearing about dad and healing. So I don't know whether you need it or whether dad's here and he needs it, but I keep hearing the word dad. So I'm sending that sort of fatherly energy towards you for advice and guidance as well. I don't know whether that makes any sense because it's coming in a little bit of a bundle there. Right, so 10 of Wands, right? The 10 of Wands for me is like this person walking uphill with a load of bags on their shoulder, and they're absolutely weighed down by lots of life's events. So I would look at now what tasks that you need to complete. I know you're always busy and I know you're always working hard, but also look at what stuff that you can give back to people that they can complete. Because this for me is about being the pack horse of life. I'm being weighed down by stuff. And I think things through quite literally. I'm sure I'm on the spectrum, because sometimes I get it so literal that I think, right, I need to look at things from that spot on perspective. So with that, I feel like a pack horse. And if I've got that weight on my shoulders, then all I can see is the heavier that I get, the posture goes down and down and down. And all I can see is that little space on the floor. And if I'm looking to bring things in that are showing me the bigger aspect of things, then I need to be able to look up and see quite widely. So this is about clearing your pathway over the next couple of months so that you are allowing yourself to that rebuild, and also delegate responsibilities to those that own them. Right, guys, I have now been on an hour and a half. I didn't mean to be. So thank you for I think it was 35 people that I've had on. Bless you. Thank you very much for the 17 people that have stuck with me right to the end. And I'm going to say my goodbyes. Well, because what I shall be doing after I've dealt with this is I will go onto YouTube, jump on there, take the thing off there, and sort this one out where I go through and remove all of the stupid comments. And then I will just leave my love and light with you. I will put that on just for a second while I sum up and say thank you very much. It's always my honour and my utmost pleasure to work with you guys, Energy. Remember that I will not be sending anything through to you to canvas foot readings or anything like that. That's why my details are on there. £35 for a reading, which is 30 to 40 minutes working with tarot and angel cards. The soul guidance is £50 for an hour's work, and that is working with your energy, working at a soul level, and listening to you and basically providing support to see what your questions are and working through with that. Anything that comes through with my picture on offering free readings or anything like that, guaranteed it is not me. The only way that I do free readings is on this format. So I just want to say thank you very much for your indulgence. And like I said to you earlier on, for those of you that thought I was good, bless you, thank you. I want to do better. For those of you that thought I was crap, thank you. I want to do better. So please like and subscribe on my YouTube channel. For the 2,000 supporters that I've got on the thing, thank you very much. I'm so grateful, and I hope to catch up with you at either an event. If you're in Britain, I'm at Stafford Showground for this weekend, and I believe I'm at Grantham and Cleethorpes next weekend. And for those of you that want the private readings, you can always ping me an email on there, and I will always answer. And I think that's about all I've got to say to you guys, because I need a cup of tea, because what's left of this one's quite cold. And I need a big bucket and a big brew. And I'll just send my love and light out to you and just say, I hope you have a wonderful rest of the week and a lovely weekend, and hopefully catch up with you next weekend. Thank you very much and much love. Bless you.